brilliance and grace. Welcome joy, satisfaction, pleasure and strength. Welcome essence, beauty, presence, time, spirit, form and space. Welcome excellence in every blessing, sacred and praise. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can't. Who I wanna be, I am. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can't. Who I wanna be, I am. Ooh. Welcome magic and wonder, brilliance and grace. Welcome joy, satisfaction, pleasure and strength. Welcome essence, beauty, presence, time, spirit, form and space. Welcome excellence in every blessing, sacred and praise. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can. What I wanna be, I am. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can. Who I wanna be, I am. I am the seed, I am the tree. I am the flower, I am the bee. I am fire and I am wind. I accept love and also I give. I am loud and I am mighty. I am silent and I tread lightly. I am brave and monumental. I am modest, I am gentle. I am student and I teach. I am the sand and I am the beach. I am ease and I am power. I am bridge and I am tower. I am peace and I am wild. I am mother, I am child. I am many, I am few. I am God and God is you. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can. Who I wanna be, I am. What I seek, I have. What I wanna know, I understand. All I wish I could, I can. Who I wanna be, I
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, May the 29th, 2022. So glad it's today for our Heartstream. As always, I appreciate your presence, your support, and all of the ways in which you help to make this Heartstream possible. We also know that we are in the Memorial Day weekend. We acknowledge in this Memorial Day those persons, as I saw it once expressed, who never had the opportunity to take their uniform off. Those who made the ultimate sacrifice, we remember them and we remember their families. And we continue, though, to work toward a world where war isn't necessary, where we could move beyond that. But this weekend, we honor those who made that sacrifice. I want to also remind you that on next Saturday, June the 4th, we are participating in the Mid-South Pride's Parade. It will take place at 1 p.m. on Bill Street. Asking those of you who would like to participate, if you will, I'd have a count so that we can show up and show up strong, show up in a way that we provide a witness to the Mid-South community for Open Heart and how we are an inclusive community, an inclusive spiritual center, and we welcome all people and we hold fast to that commitment and we are intentional about it. I know that this week, many of us, me included, have really mulled over the events that happened in Uvalde, Texas, and even prior to that, what happened in Buffalo, New York, the tragedies where you had these mass shootings, and just want to continue to hold the light and hold the space in this regard, but also to urge you to not let this dim your light, but to do what it is that you can to contact those elected officials and those people who are responsible for making policies and setting policies and all of that. And let your voice be heard. Let them know that it's enough. We are tired of these things and constantly having our sensibilities and our sense of well-being assaulted by these events and these things that are happening in the world. So with that, I'd like to take a moment to turn within. As I give thanks for this day and for the many abundant blessings that flow in through and as me and in through and as each and every person who is here today viewing this Heartstream and beyond, that we might be a place where God shows up in the world. We use our unique expression in such a way that we can make a difference in this world, that we can be about making change, that we can be about holding the space and showing up differently from so many of the voices of division, so much of the rhetoric that is out there that continues to divide and separate and do so many things that cause us to have the environment and the atmosphere in which we find ourselves today. May we know the truth, and may we not only know that truth, but live by that truth and express that truth in the world. May we be a place where God shows up. May we be the place where we show that it is indeed possible in this world to live from a sense of spiritual conviction. And as we do so, that we raise the vibration, we raise the atmosphere, we raise the spiritual awareness in this place so that things begin to happen. I know that going forth in this day, going forth in this Heartstream, that what takes place here, what we have created here, reverberates and moves out from this space and this moment and has a lasting effect on this world. And with this, I release my word into the creative medium. I know that it is already done in the mind of God, and I release it now, and so it is. I greet you. I bless you. I see God in you.
Today's a new day.
Today's a new day, but wearing my blue skies. Where is the love and the joy that was promised? You tell me it's alright. I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now. I smile, even though it hurts me, I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, smile. It's so hard to look up when you're down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile, so smile. Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but tell me where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that was promised? And tell me it's alright. I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now. I smile, even though I hurt, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, smile. It's so hard to look up when you're down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile. Smile for me. Can you just smile for me? Smile, smile for me. Can you just smile for me? You look so much better when you 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 You look so much better when you
Look in the mirror.
You look so much better when you
Always remember.
You look so much better when you smile. Almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now. Right now, I smile, even though it hurts me, I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, smile. It's so hard to look up when you're down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile, so smile. You look so much better when you
New Orleans,
You look so much better when you
Cleveland,
You look so much better when you You look so much better when you look so much better when you 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 smile.
I just don't want you to be happy. I think you gotta have something happy. I want you to have joy, cause can't nobody take that from you. I see you.
Yeah, that's an acquired experience.
Our purpose statement. Our purpose is to create a spiritual community which recognizes that there is one presence and one power in the universe, God. Daily, we actively practice this spiritual truth. We open our heart space to each person to acknowledge one another as expressions of God. It is in each other that we see God.
Our theme for the month of May, Live Your Impossible. No matter the appearance, condition, or circumstance, I firmly stand in my truth. Because God is in me, nothing is impossible. I face all things and declare, I'm possible.
I found this affirmative reading online. I'm not sure who it's by, but it really spoke to me. God is. I have not heard your voice in the murmur of the clouds. I have not seen your visions of you in my waking hours. I have not felt your all transforming touch, but this I know, you are. I know that your light surrounds me, that your love envelops me, that your power protects me, and that your presence watches over me always. In countless ways, every day, I realize that I am not alone, that you are with me. The longer I live, the more I understand that nothing happens by chance in your universe or our lives. As I look back, I see how your hand guided me at every step, and I thank you for your unconditional love and unceasing blessings. All I need to do is to stay in touch with you. How? By reminding myself during the day, as often as possible, that you are with me. By relating all I do with you. When I see the sunrise, it is your painting. When I eat food, it is your power that digests. When I express love to my family, it is your warmth that comforts me. When I work, it is your intelligence that performs. When I watch TV, it is your energy that is harnessed. During the busiest hours, I stop for a moment and recall that you are with me. When I have moments of leisure, I share that time with you, talking to you as my closest friend. This I do, for I know God is.
Good morning. These are your announcements.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day. Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
In the midst of our gatherings and everything else on this weekend, we take the time to remember those who sacrificed this Memorial Day. We know that they have made the ultimate sacrifice, and as I've seen it said, those who never had the opportunity to take their uniform off. And we bless them. We bless their memory, we bless their lives and their families. June is approaching, and we know that that is Pride Month, and we will take part in the Pride Parade that is sponsored by Mid-South Pride on Saturday, June the 4th at 1 p.m. The parade takes place on Bill Street, and Open Heart once again will be a part of this as we continue to be a part of our legacy, which is that we have been always an inclusive community. If you'd like to be a part of our parade group, you can text us at 901-860-5029 to say that you are going to participate. We need a count to let the parade officials know, And also, we've had t-shirts in the past, and we want to make sure that we have enough t-shirts for you to wear. That's 901-860-5029. Just text your name and say that I plan to participate. This Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Central, we have our Wine and Words. We invite you to join us. Our facilitator, Krista Wright Thayer, has a great evening of conversation in store. Remember, there's no wine required, but be sure to bring you. We hope you will join us. At Open Heart, we absolutely believe in the power of affirmative prayer. We hold a space for these persons you see named here. We see you. We see you whole. We see you strengthened and encouraged. We see you recognizing the infinite within that animates and gives life to you and sustains you through all circumstances. And so it is. I'm always grateful to those who provide an affirmative reading. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And this is your opportunity to submit a video to Jay Gilmore at Openheartspiritual.org. Our daily affirmative prayer call takes place each and every morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Dial in as one of our prayer team members shares an inspirational reading and then prays for you, all in about 7 minutes. As always, we're thankful for your gifts. There are 3 ways to give: through our Cash App, to give online at our website, or text the word GIVE to 615-422-4292. Infinite prosperity is mine to share. I am blessed, and we hope that you will continue to share in your prosperity with Open Heart. Here's another easy way to support Open Heart. With Amazon Smile. With Amazon Smile, you'll find the same Amazon dashboard, order, and browsing history you currently use. Nothing changes, except a donation is made to Open Heart with each eligible purchase. You see, Amazon will donate 0.5% of the price of your eligible Amazon Smile purchase to Open Heart whenever you shop. You can go to our website and you can click on the banner that's there and it'll take you to Amazon. You can go to Amazon and go to Smile and give you a tip. We're listed as Open Heart Community of Faith Ministries and Church because that is our official name when we signed up through Smile. And you can even do this. I do this. You can add the Amazon Smile extension to your browser if you use Google Chrome. And then all you have to do is click on that and it will take you completely into the portal and you're able to support Open Heart. But it's an opportunity for you, if you already shop at Amazon, to support Open Heart and what you're doing, and we appreciate it.
Good morning, y'all. This is Manasa, the Diva of Divination. I'm reaching out to you today, asking for your prayers as I am just really struggling with the violence that is just rampant in this country. And yes, that may be the American way, but it doesn't mean that it's right. And so every day my spiritual center has a prayer call, and on Saturday and Sundays I lead that prayer call. And I want to share with you today the inspirational reading that I chose and the prayer that I wrote that was then inspired and infired by Spirit, and asking you to make a difference, be a difference in this world today. The reading comes from the Daily Word and it is helpful. My helpful spirit is divine love in action. When I see an opportunity to be of service, I do not hesitate to offer my help. I am careful to be sensitive to others' feelings, respecting their right to decline my assistance, never insisting that my way will work better. With humility and grace, I go where I am asked and do what needs to be done. I am blessed to be the hands of God in the world. Being of help always feeds my soul. I also graciously accept help when it is offered, understanding the impulse to serve doesn't live in me alone. My life becomes richer and more fulfilling when I live and work in harmony with others. willingly offering to help wherever I can, and gratefully accepting assistance whenever I need it. And it ends with this verse from the New Testament: bear one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And I am inviting you to be prayerful and then to act. For my Canadian family, ask your parliamentary people to send the president or the senators a letter, and you can too. Say, my American friends are struggling right now. Y'all have the power to do something. And this is my prayer from this morning. And may you join with me, for where 2 or 3 are gathered in the name of divine love, there in the very midst of that prayer is the presence. And if we can then act from that place of presence, we can be a beneficial presence. Why am I asking you to do this? Because it is my desire and passion to create a world that works for everyone. And I am here to be a beneficial presence on this planet. And I'm asking you to join me. This was my prayer from this morning and is my prayer this day. Oh, sweet Spirit within and out, help us to heed the words of this morning's reading. When I see an opportunity to be of service, I do not hesitate to offer my help. Give us the eyes to see the opportunity before us to stop the mindless slaughter of the innocents. 23 years since Columbine, and very little has changed. Oh, great Spirit, wake us, shake us from our slumber, shake us from our stupor and our safety in our comfort zones. Enough is enough. If the people who profess to be spiritual and new thought, and let's throw in the New Age tarot oracle people, if we just sit on our hands and send thoughts and prayers, we are, as Master Teacher Jesus said, about salt that has lost its flavor, useless. I know, O God, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. May we stand in our divinity and from a place of power speak to that principality of fear and say, no more. We see you, fear, in your different forms, in the delusion of white supremacy, in race prejudice, in misogyny, which is hatred against women, in the concept of lack, and in xenophobia and fear of others. We come against you, fear, clothed in love, empowered by our connection with and embodying our divinity. No more. We bind you, wrapping you in the chains of divine love through divine right action. No more will we sit on our hands and do nothing. We will follow the example of Master Teacher Jesus and go into the temple, the state houses, the White House, the city governments, and cause a ruckus. Enough is enough. Move, O Spirit, on the hard hearts of the senators and House members who love money more than justice. Move on the hearts of those that are afraid to stand up to their leaders. Embolden them to act in a new way. Move across this nation like a mighty wind, stirring up the hearts of your people to action. Enough is enough, and so it is. Be prayerful and then act. Bless. as we have arrived at this sacred pause in our celebration. Let us take a moment to refocus, reset, and get ready to be re-energized as we prepare to hear from the messenger today. Just take a moment and make sure that you're right here. Not thinking about what you're going to do after the service or something you should have done last week, but right now, right here, right now, present, focused, and let us center by taking a deep breath in through our nose and then exhaling through our mouth. Namaste.
Good morning. When we forget who we are, I know that for me, this past week and prior to that, the events, the massacres that took place in, first of all, in Buffalo, New York, and then in Uvalde, Texas, really affected me in the sense that I was asking myself, where are we going in this world? What is happening in this country? And I know that I was not the only one, because as I saw and listened to people all around talking about the incidents that happened, the things that went on, I also heard them wondering and pondering where we are, what is happening, where we are headed, what is it that we can do. And as I said earlier in talking about this message, while there are many questions whenever things like this happen, whenever tragedies like this occur, there are many questions that people have. And I'm here with one possible answer. I don't claim to have all of the answers, and I think that it's not simplistic to have one answer. I think that there are going to be many different facets to answering this question. But what I'd like to offer today, what I'd like to talk about today, is something that came to me in the midst of several other tragedies. And I think it's worth repeating, it's worth talking about today. And that is that when we see people who commit crimes such as this, when we see the inhumanity that happens all around the world, and when we see things where people are perpetrating all kinds of things against other people, one of the things that I think is responsible is when we forget who we are. When we forget who we are. And I say that, and I don't say that lightly, but I think that it's important for us to remember that there is a truth. There is something about who it is that we are. And when we forget those things, when we don't operate from that awareness and that understanding, it becomes possible to do the kinds of unfortunate things that we see. It becomes possible for people to respond and behave in that manner. So I'd like to talk about how we can get back to remembering who we are today. I'd like to talk about how it is that we can understand our true identity. And I think that part of it begins with the fact that so often we have inherited and we have internalized the negative things that have been said about us. We find oftentimes that we are in a space and place that people will say things about us, people will say things to us, things will happen to us, and as a result, we start to feel less than who we truly are. We start to see ourselves as being less than what the divine, what Spirit has endowed us with. And then we see others in that same light, and we begin doing things and operating from that sense of thinking, and doing those things. And then we find ourselves, and we find in this moment that we are acting unlike who it is that we truly are. When we begin to understand that, and I know that so often in this world, there are things and there are people who speak negatively and speak to us negatively. And it's important for us to move beyond the negativity, to move beyond all of the other things, and to realize and to recognize who it is that we are. I saw a quote just the other day that talked about that one of the hardest things in the world is to learn how, when we view the injustices in this world, to not allow that to dim our light. And I think that's truly, truly important. I think about also how very often religion has played a part in that, because many of us who came through traditional places of religion know that in the religious context, we hear this whole rhetoric and this whole idea and philosophy and even theology about us being dreadful sinners. And as dreadful sinners, that we are somehow less than who our true identity is, which is divine. And in recognizing that, we see that people will operate from that, will see themselves as not being the true expression of God, not being the divine creation. As I've often said, that when God created humankind, then God saw it as good, as very good. That's the witness in Genesis, and never stopped that, never stopped seeing that. We are the ones who took on this idea of God punishing us because God was displeased or angry with us or anything like that. But ultimately, we are God's creation. We are divine beings having a human experience. We are a divine expression. And it's important for us to remember that, to know that, and to operate from that. I remember years ago when I moved into my first apartment. I was living in Dallas, Texas. I was attending seminary, and I was excited about that apartment. It was my first place. It was my first opportunity to truly live on my own. And I was looking forward to having a good time there and looking forward to what was going to happen there. I started decorating the place. I was, a bachelor and looking forward to just living life on my own, living life in my own way. And as decorating the apartment, I saw that I needed to spruce the bathroom up a little bit. And for me, one of the ways in which I could do that was to have some nice towels in the bathroom. And I happened to be looking through the newspaper and in the sales circular, and I saw these designer towels that were listed, that were on sale at one of the department stores there. And I was really kind of intrigued because this was a designer that had, a reputation, and his stuff sold for very, very high prices, premium prices so often. And I knew that I was on a budget. But when I saw that at that price, I made my way to the store, got to the department store. I walked in, I walked over to the section that had the bath items, and there, sure enough, on the shelf were the bath towels. And again, I kept trying to really understand why those bath towels were at that price that they were. And so as I reached over for one of them, I looked at the sign that talked about the sale, and there in small print, it indicated that these towels may be slightly imperfect or irregular. And I thought about that, the fact that when we see ourselves as being imperfect, we tend to discount ourselves. We find that society tends to discount us when we come across, or they see us as being imperfect. And I think that it's important for us in this moment to move beyond those ideas of imperfection and recognize who it is that we truly are. And I'd like to offer several ways in which we can do that. And first is, if you will just take a moment to notice what it is that you are noticing. Notice what it is that you are noticing. First, notice your thoughts. Notice your thoughts. You might be wondering, well, where is he going with this? You might be wondering, how long is this going to be? You might be wondering or thinking about what it is that you're going to do as a part of this holiday weekend. There might be many things that might be going through your mind, but I want you to acknowledge the fact that because you can notice what it is that you are thinking, that you are not your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. Secondly, I'd like for you to just take a moment and become aware of your body. Become aware of where you are, the space that you're taking up, the room where you are seated or standing, or however else you are viewing this Heartstream, to feel the air around you, to feel your clothes on your body, the weight of the clothes on your body, to feel any kind of body sensations or whatever else it might be, but to notice your body, to become aware of your body. And again, recognize that because you can notice your body, that ultimately you are not your body. And then finally, the third thing is to think about your feelings. Become aware of your feelings. Notice your feelings. And in noticing your feelings, are you happy? Are you sad? Are you worried? Are you excited? Are you anxious? Are you fearful? Are you in a state of reverie? Or are you in a state, a melancholy state, sad, whatever it might be? But to notice your feelings. And again, as you recognize the fact that because you can notice your feelings, you are not your feelings. And when you recognize that you are not your feelings, you may have your feelings, but your feelings don't have you. And where I'm going with all of this is the awareness and the understanding that we are not our thoughts, we are not our bodies, we are not our feelings, but we are divine beings in expression here. And we can then transcend those thoughts that would take us down, those thoughts that will pull us down. We can transcend even our bodies, even those times when we don't feel well and when we have all of these things happening, these bodily sensations, that ultimately we can begin to rise above those things and transcend those things. And even with our feelings, when we have those feelings that are less than beneficial and less than helpful, we can transcend those things because we are not those things. And you might be asking yourself, well, why is all of this important? It is because when we recognize ourselves, the truth of who we are as divine beings in expression, as divine beings, then we can begin showing up in the world as our true selves. And it's necessary and it's important for us to show up in the world as our true selves. I think about the story that was told about a monastery in Europe where the monks in that monastery were not getting along. There was a lot of bickering amongst them. There were a lot of things that were really not like the kind of ways in which you would expect a monastery to operate and how you would expect monks to behave. And so finally, the leader of the monastery became so frustrated that he tried to figure out what he could do to make things change, because the town that was near the monastery, people had stopped looking to it as a place of spiritual direction, as a place of centering and all of that. So he decided, because he knew that in the town there was a rabbi, a Jewish rabbi, who had the reputation for being a very wise and knowing person. So he made a trip to visit the rabbi. And I thought about the fact of talking about a Roman Catholic monk and a rabbi, it's almost like the beginning of a joke. But actually what happened was he had a conversation with the rabbi, and he explained the things that were happening in the monastery. And he explained the things that were going on and his frustration for not being able to find a solution. And the rabbi listened very intently. And after he listened, he then said, I have just one word of advice for you, that when you go back to your fellow monks at the monastery, tell them that one of them might be the Christ. So he thought about that for a moment. He went back to the monastery. The other monks were anxious, and they were anticipating what the answer might be from this wise rabbi. And he said, well, we had a conversation. I explained to him what was going on. And what he said to me was to tell you that one of you might be the Christ. They kind of looked at one another. They looked at him. They thought about it for a moment. But in the days after that, things started to happen. That because they took that piece of advice to heart, they started to treat one another in a different manner. They started to act in a different manner towards one another. And they were constantly thinking that when I look at my brother monk here or my brother monk there, that they just might be the Christ. It might be me that is the Christ. But ultimately, when they recognized the fact that the divine essence was in each and every one of them, it changed how it was that they operated. It changed how it was that they acted. I think about just the other day, I heard a young lady, and she was talking about the same situations that I pointed to about in Buffalo and Uvalde, Texas. And she said that one of the places in which we can start, and I so appreciated what she said, we can start by being kind to one another. We can start by just right where we are in our own environment, in the people that are around us, in the people that we encounter, in the ways in which we are. We can be kind. We can be caring. We can be thoughtful. We can allow those things to come forth and express those things. And I think that it's important also to recognize that when we live from our true self, we live from our true divinity, then we begin finding the other solutions that I think are necessary, the other answers that are necessary, that we become empowered to find some strong spiritual solutions to the things that are happening in this world. We can take the practical things, contacting our elected officials and becoming active and raising our voices in this way, but also to know that we do it from a perspective of power and not of hopelessness, that we do it from a perspective of understanding who we are and our place in the world. And as we do these things, as we express in this way, as we express in this manner, things begin to happen. You've often heard it said from teachers that one of the most powerful phrases that we can use is I am. And whatever follows after I am, you are declaring a divine principle that makes things happen. You're declaring the divine principle that moves things in the universe. And I'd like to offer this morning that if you take the words I am and you add to it your name, is I would say, I am John Gilmore, that what you are declaring is that in this moment, you are sourcing the divine. You are the emanation of the divine. And so whatever your name is, I'd like for you in this moment, right here and right now, I know you are watching this, and you might have other people in the room. So if there are people in the room with you, you don't feel comfortable saying it out loud, but take a moment and say, I am, and then add your name to it. So I'll do it again. I am John Gilmore. And when you do that, it's a powerful statement and a powerful expression that you are showing up in this world as a person who is endowed with spirit, imbued with spirit. You're emanating spirit. And as you do so, things can happen. You can be one of the places through which change happens. You can be one of the spaces and one of the places where, as Eddie Watkins sings, where God shows up. And as you do, and as we join with others who are of like mind, as we raise the vibration that we have in this world, that we can see change. Our theme for this month is Live Your Impossible. And I know that changing things on the political scene, changing things as it relates to violence, changing things as it relates to all the other kinds of phobias, homophobia, transphobia, and everything else like that, all of the other ways in which we see injustice in the world, it might seem impossible to do something about that. But I think that as we begin to claim our identity, as we begin to claim who it is that we are, we can begin making a change. We can be the force. We can be the place. We can be the energy. We can be the spiritual expression. We can be what it takes to make a change in this world. Won't you join me in not getting discouraged by the things that are happening, not allowing it to dim your light, but join me in expressing all it is that we can, making a difference in this world, showing up today and every day. Peace and blessings, and so it is.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. If you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open. Yes, I'm only here for God.